Tonight's big stories. China is reportedly sending a huge force to block off Scarborough Shoal just a day before a large civilian-led convoy sets sail to the area. The PCG says it's sending a 44-meter vessel for extra security.
While down south, the Philippine Coast Guard says it has proof that China is trying to build artificial islands on the disputed Escoda Shoal off Palawan.
And amid concerns over the number of Chinese students in the country, Congressman Robert Ace Barbers calls for the repeal of an executive order that lets the Bureau of Immigration convert tourist visas into student visas. We will be speaking with the congressman later on.
Good evening. Welcome to the show. I'm Regina.
I'm Gretchen.
And I'm Shawn.
China could be sending a quote-unquote huge force to block off the Scarborough Shoal ahead of the Atin Ito coalition's second civilian sail to the area. At least that's according to former U.S. Air Force official and Sea Light founder Ray Powell. He posted on X satellite images showing at least 4 Chinese Coast Guard ships and 26 large maritime militia vessels on their way to Bajo de Masinloc to greet the civilian convoy that will make its way to the disputed waters on Wednesday and Thursday. This number does not include vessels that are in the dark or could not be detected on the automatic identification system.
Powell said this will be by far the largest blockade he will have tracked at Scarborough. In response, the National Security Council issued a statement urging China to permit the group to proceed with what they called a peace and solidarity regatta.
Pasok naman sa ating karagatan ang Bajo de Masinloc. Kaya they are free to do whatever they do dito and sana maging matagumpay yung pagbibigay nila ng tulong kasi the objective nitong mission na ito ay tulungan yung ating mga mangingisda. Pakiusap na lang natin sa People's Republic of China ay igalang nila yung paglalayag nitong mga barkong ito kasi they're civilian. Kilala itong mga to, itong mga personalidad na ito sa ating bansa. They can check and recheck. They know na these are civilian vessels.
The Philippine Coast Guard, for its part, says it will be on standby in case they need to respond to any untoward incidents. They will also be fielding a 44-meter vessel to ensure the safety of civilians.
For the Philippine Coast Guard, our objective is only to ensure the safety of those who will be joining. We have to make sure that they will not be harassed or at least injured kung sakaling iharas sila ng Chinese Coast Guard.
But the Atin Ito coalition remains undeterred, saying they will press forward with a 4-day voyage even with intimidation from Beijing. But in the unfortunate event that someone on the convoy does get injured or worse, what then? How might the United States react?
This is going to put a lot of diplomatic pressure on the Biden administration to do something in this part of the world. My sense is there's a lot that can be done in the middle in terms of diplomatic economic measures.
Is it going to be another showdown between the civilian convoy and Chinese vessels? If you recall, back in December, ganyan din, it was Ray Powell who reported that Chinese vessels were already sent to the vicinity of Ayungin Shoal and Patag and Lawak Islands. But the civilian captain, when we were being shadowed, turned back already at first sight.
Ang sabi niya, safety is the priority of everybody.
Correct. Kasi he was carrying civilians also at that time.
So we did ask the Atin Ito coalition about what they do in case of the same encounter happening. Sabi nila, we have contingency plans for every scenario already. They did not reveal those plans though about what's going to happen. But again, safety will be the utmost priority. To be honest, medyo kinakabahan yung mga kasamang media because
of course
this is it is part of the West Philippine Sea, but it's a totally different area with different claims. As we know,
and China has what do you call this? Exerted sovereignty over the area since 2012.
Exactly.
12 years now.
So after the Scarborough showdown in 2012, they've effectively, a lot of people, I'm just going to use the words, they claim the area. They're effectively in control of that area.
So we're coming off the recent water cannoning incident that was described as very fatal by the PCG.
There is strength in numbers, though. We
This
are talking
convoy
about.
is going to be bigger.
the largest ever convoy. We're talking about 200 Filipinos composed of fishermen, volunteers, foreign and local journalists, and observers across 2 large fishing boats and 100 small bangkas. And as you mentioned, the PCG is also fielding a 44-meter vessel for extra security. Again, emphasizing that this is a civilian-led convoy.
But the difference here is in the first civilian convoy, we were riding a huge vessel, but this time it will be fishing boats that we will be riding on our way to Scarborough. So medyo yun, kaya
Iba yung
doon
scenario.
nanggagaling yung kaba ng mga sasama sa convoy. But this is a statement for freedom of navigation and also fighting for the fishing rights of our fishermen.
And in case you missed it, the whole point of the convoy is to deliver a lot of ayuda, relief goods, fuel, food, etc. to our fishermen in that area. Yun yung goal, di ba?
So
Yun yung
sasama tayo doon. Sasama ako doon. That's I'm going to be headed to Zambales tomorrow. And let's see.
How many hours out of off of Zambales is it?
17.
17.
Bajo de Masinloc
I remember
is
it was
17.
under 20, yeah.
Yes.
So they will be installing buoys in the EEZ as to
Just to guide the convoy. no?
the vicinity of Bajo de Masinloc. That's another conversation altogether, and I think our guest later will explain that to us.
Well, you know what? Something is up at another shoal. The Philippine Coast Guard says it's moving to block China's supposed reclamation activities in Escoda or Sabina Shoal, this time near Palawan. Former Supreme Court Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio was alarmed over this, saying it's a sign that Beijing is planning to fence off the area. Gio Robles has the rest of that story.
These are the 2 sandbars discovered by the Philippine Coast Guard when they conducted a survey around Escoda or Sabina Shoal near Palawan. These sandbars, made of dead or crushed corals, are in the northeast portion of the shoal. The PCG says that although these are still below water, they found at least 10 other such sandbars around Escoda Shoal. The Philippine Coast Guard takes this as a sign of a reclamation attempt by China. We tried to get the statement of the Chinese embassy on the matter, but their response to the media was brief. PCG thinks, as if to say that PCG only thinks it's China that is behind the reclamation. But the Philippine Coast Guard says they are sure that China is behind it, as it's backed by numerous evidence.
We have photos and videos to prove that. And they should be man enough to accept that they have really deployed and intruded our own waters.
On Saturday morning, PCG released photos of some Chinese research vessels and divers conducting maritime assessment activities in Escoda Shoal. There were also almost 50 Chinese vessels spotted separately around the area since April 16. The PCG suspects China is conducting the reclamation activities at night.
The Chinese, whether sanctioned by the state or not, have already came up with a study on how to do island building in making use of the coral reef, in making use of crushed corals.
PCG's largest boat, BRP Teresa Magbanwa, has been monitoring Escoda Shoal for almost a month now. But for retired Senior Associate Justice Antonio Carpio, the Philippine Navy should also send one of its boats to monitor the area.
But yung ating Coast Guard, mag-station na ng Coast Guard vessel doon 24 hours a day. Pagpadala tayo ng Navy natin at bantayan. Third, apply na natin sila sa UNCLOS tribunal for damage to the marine environment.
Sabina Shoal is at 71 nautical miles or 132 kilometers away from Rizal in Palawan. It is also part of the Kalayaan group of islands and is within the Philippines economic zone. Carpio believes China is planning to fence off the area, and that's why they are moving to build artificial islands in Escoda Shoal. If this happens, the Philippines will lose access to the oil-rich Recto Bank. This is also the route heading to Ayungin Shoal, where BRP Sierra Madre is located.
So pag nasa Escoda Shoal ka, may artificial island ka, pwede mong i-harass yung mga Philippine construction para kumuha ng gas sa reef bank. Pwede nila i-harass yung survey ship, drill ship natin doon.
The National Security Council also expressed alarm over China's reclamation activities. They have ordered the Coast Guard and the military to increase surveillance in the area.
We are alarmed by all of this development at kaya the National Task Force West Philippine Sea, led by Secretary Anyo, has already directed mas maigting na pagbabantay sa lahat ng mga features natin at lahat ng mga features within the West Philippine Sea, within our 200 nautical miles exclusive economic zone. Kasi wala pong magbabantay dyan kundi tayo.
For News 5, Gio Robles, We Are One News.
And China's Foreign Ministry spokesman Wang Wenbin has reacted to the PCG's report of Chinese reclamation activities in the Escoda or Sabina Shoal. He says the Philippines' accusations against China are baseless and pure rumors. In recent times, the Philippines has spread rumors on many occasions, deliberately smearing China and trying to mislead the international community. Such behavior is in vain. We urge the Philippines to stop making irresponsible remarks, face the facts, and return to the right track of properly handling maritime-related differences through negotiation and consultation as soon as possible. So that was the statement.
Well, one person who recently spent some time at Scarborough Shoal, or Bajo de Masinloc as we know it, is lawyer and former Comelec Commissioner Larrazabal. Goyo was there for 3 days and 4 nights last week, sleeping, eating, and fishing with a dozen or so Filipino fishermen out there. And he is back on dry land now to give me some advice, and talk to us about his experience. Welcome to The Big Story.
Thanks for having me here. Thanks, ladies.
Okay, so first of all, you said you were able to step on
Yes.
Scarborough Shoal.
Yes.
You were able to swim there. Talk to us about the feeling of that and
kasi
how you were able to do that.
I go around the Philippines. When I drive around the Philippines, I go to different provinces. I've always wanted to go to Masinloc and Bajo de Masinloc. And now, I had this opportunity to go. And, you know, when you look at Scarborough, it's just plain water, di ba? And on low tide, there's a few rocks that protrudes from the water. But if you see it from the air, ang ganda ng Scarborough. Then, when you walk there, it's a bit difficult because sometimes it's up to waist deep and the current is uneven. It's hard to swim. So I wanted, I stepped on Scarborough. I swam. I tried
I saw
to
the
swim.
photo.
We have a picture of you.
Yeah, I
That
stepped
is
on
actually his
Scarborough.
drone shot, his first
Yes.
ever drone shot that he did in Bajo de Masinloc. Quite monumental.
Yes. It was a different experience altogether. Na, you're standing there on.
Well, everybody's, having difficulty getting inside or getting to Bajo de Masinloc. How are you able to
Okay.
do that?
What I did is I just went by myself and I was accompanied by a good friend of mine, Joel Angeles. He was the videographer. So kami lang dalawa, together with about a dozen fishermen. So we were just like ordinary fishermen. And difference is that as soon as I got to Masinloc, the first thing they ask is, saan ang kalo mo or saan ang bonnet mo? So I had to buy a bonnet and I had to buy sleeve guards. Kasi para daw akong foreigner eh. Kasi medyo maputi ako ng konti, di ba?
Tell us why. Why they want you to look like one of the fishermen?
Because in past experiences, if they see a foreigner, medyo mainit yung Chinese vessels sa kanila. So, as much as possible, I have to look like an ordinary fisherman, a regular fisherman. And kung may lalapit na boat, tanggal salamin kasi, pagkatapos put a bonnet, then, just act as normal then.
Meaning to say, Goyo, kung sila-sila lang, based on kwento ng mga fishermen, if sila-sila lang yung naglumayag at nangisda, ginugulo daw ba sila? Or pag may kasama lang silang foreigner?
What happens usually every day is we're docked, no? We're anchored near the shoal, di ba? Outside, not inside. Bawal inside. So outside kami. May lalapit na Coast Guard, na Chinese Coast Guard, next alis. After may lalapit na militia vessel, kaalis. Parang they're just patrolling the whole shoal. Then I guess they're checking on the vessels. Alam mo naman ano ang Philippine vessels, it's usually bank.
But they do allow fishing.
Yeah.
They do allow,
Wala
kasi
naman.
nakikita natin sa news madalas yung water cannoning, blockade. I mean, when does that happen?
You know what? I talked with Kapitan Efren. He's been fishing there since the late 90s. Alam mo before, it got to a point na they would look forward to meeting other vessels from other countries kasi mag-swap yan ng, so may isda sila, they'll give the fish to the Chinese, then bibigyan sila ng masarap na noodles, then they give it to the Vietnamese. Now, it does not It's not like that anymore. It's very strict na eh. They fish there. They can fish naman, walang problema. But sa labas. They can't go inside. Kasi
The
parang,
lagoon
yeah, the
of
lagoon.
the atoll.
The atoll is, sa entrance yan, there's 2 Chinese Coast Guard vessels on each side. And another Chinese vessel here, Coast Guard. And there's a speedboat in the middle. So, hindi ka talaga makapasok. Like, may militia dito, dito, at saka malayo.
Kahit daw may bagyo, Goyo, hindi sila pinapapasok just to seek shelter in the
No,
lagoon?
hindi na.
Hindi talaga?
Hindi.
Since 2012?
Since 2012. And in fact, I have to verify, but I think one of them even said na water cannon daw yung isang bangka doon in 2014. I have to check, no? But
Yung
that's what
isang Chinese boat doon sa mouth ng shoal.
water cannon yung fishermen. Fishermen. So, that was the only incident. But now, parang they can fish, but doon sa labas.
What was the morale of the fishermen like? How would you describe
Okay.
it?
Normally, kasi during the day, there are 2 groups of fishermen eh. One that fishes in the morning, the other group fishes at night. Diba? Iba-ibang klaseng isda, diba? So like in the morning, the fishermen who get fish for the aquarium, they do that, no? Mga small fishes. Then sa gabi, yung mga malaki, eels, etc. Normally, they're just relaxing, but this one's different kasi at that time, I brought Starlink with me. I brought the internet. So, pagdating doon, everybody's so happy. Kasi that was the first time, sabi na, sa katagal-tagal ng naglaot, this is the first time na may nagdala ng internet connection doon. And my God, it was so nice to see them so happy na they were calling their families na nandito kami sa Scarborough. Like, I'm talking with Tony and his son, Rain, di ba? And yung si Kapitan Dodong at night, he had to call his wife in Hong Kong. They were calling everybody, hindi, parang they would say, hindi, totoo yan. So they would show the video na they're in Scarborough. So, sa kanila, they're so happy na, before kasi, nag-lockdown mga 1 week, di ba? 1 week without contact sa family. This one, they were able to contact their family every day.
So, ganun yung routine nila, 1 week out.
1 week out.
1 whole week out, tas
Yes.
babalik at the end of the week.
But before, it used to be only 2 days. 2 days, punong-puno na yung barko. That was like over 20 years ago. Na pupunta sila doon, kasi daming isda, 2 days, balik na sila. But now, because of may mga problems, and medyo yung ibang corals doon, sira na eh. 1 week, minsan, kulang pa eh.
How much fish were you able to get in that trip?
We were two pump boats. Ang ginawa namin is, I stayed there for about 3 days, diba? Then, yeah, that's me trying to swim. Oh, that's Scarborough.
What's the state of the corals now?
That doesn't look too good.
Is it overfished already?
Hindi masyado na eh.
Hindi
There's not that many fish as
You
compared
also
before.
talked about dredging activities.
Yes.
What did the fishermen say?
Before kasi, there's a portion of bahon. See, that guy, he's doing spear fishing, di ba?
The
It's
guy in the
amazing
blue
how good they can
flippers.
swim. Yeah. And their flippers are fiberglass. Sabi kasi nila, before, may nagdadredge siya ng sand. As in, big boats talaga. Nagdadredge ng sand. Nasira talaga yung corals.
What can you say? Because you told me also that you almost got hit by maritime militia vessels at night.
Kasi there was, on the third day, on the way back to Masinloc, about 30 nautical miles from the shoal, we saw out of nowhere a vessel approach us, di ba? Parang, we thought it was going to us, but it was doing a patrol. I took a shot. It was apparently a Chinese Navy vessel. It's a supply ship.
PLA
Yeah.
vessel.
The number is 887. So that nakita talaga namin. So they were patrolling 30 nautical miles. Mga 7:30 ng gabi, we were resting na, di ba? Kasi, hey, we're going back home. So, okay, malapit ako sa Masinloc. The morning, we'll be there. Nagkakagulo kasi biglang out of nowhere, there's 3 lights that was approaching the vessel. So, makita mo talaga, vessel yon kasi sa front, green, next yellow sa likod. And it was going fast eh. What the, I think it was Dodong or Odi yata who flashed his flashlight, di ba, on the vessel. Normally yan, kung Philippine vessel yan or commercial, they'll
Flashback.
flashlight back, di ba? So, they'll flashlight back. This one, wala talaga. And pag ganyan kami dito yun, so we had to go around, we had to make a turn and go at the back of the vessel. Then after that, pag nasa likod kami, umalis na ang vessel. So parang, it's weird kasi, it's like, okay, it's like in the middle of nowhere, it's light. Pagkatapos, ang bilis pa
They're
nawala.
just checking.
What time was that? Like
Mga
past 12? Hindi naman.
No, mga 7:30,
Yeah.
7:30 to 8 ng gabi.
Okay. How big were your boats? I'm curious.
It's a
Are they-
bangka, it's a
Like,
pump boat.
bangkas though come in so many sizes,
Okay,
so I don't
it's
know.
it's a pump boat that can sa katig, each katig, you can put a small bangka. You can put 4 bangkas. So it's not
not super small.
Not super small, but you know, when you sleep, you have to sleep sa katig. Or ako, I slept on the first night on alam mo yung styrofoam na lalagyan ng isda next na yung wood sa. Doon ako natutulog. Alam mo, I brought an inflatable pillow, but I was so tired, di ko mahanap.
Yeah.
So, pag when I naka-crouch ako, di ba? So, ang pillow ko, yung itong sapatos ko. The following night, I had to find the pillow, di ba? Nasakit sa ulo.
What do you think about the report of Ray Powell saying that China is possibly sending its largest blockade ever to the shoal? What are you worried about for the Atin Ito coalition?
There's, when we were there last week, easily there was a dozen vessels na eh. And those are big vessels eh. Those are huge vessels. And you see the vessels around the shoal, di ba? Alam mo, there are vessels further out kasi ang lakas ng ilaw. Ang feeling ko nga na, parang if you've departed from Batangas City on the way to Mindoro, yung ilaw sa Batangas City, yun ang ilaw ng barko nila. And there's already a lot of vessels there. Dagdagan mo pa. I don't know.
Goyo?
How many times, when you were out there, how many times did your vessel get approached by the
Every
Chinese
day.
vessel?
Every day. Parang
How many times a day?
once.
Once every day.
But
They will check.
parang nag-visual check lang. Visual check. Then there's one time we were interviewed live, di ba? So biglang out of nowhere, it was early morning, may lumapit talaga na barko. We had to cut the feed, di ba? Kasi, you know, safety comes first, di ba? Next, it stayed there lang. After that, pumunta yung Coast Guard. Next, umalis.
So
But
no
they-
radio
they-
challenges,
no.
nothing of the sort.
Wala.
They didn't try to talk to you or anything.
No. They didn't try to approach us naman. Parang
They're
from
just
afar
checking,
lang. They're
oo.
from afar.
But the thing was, you were able to get to the shoal.
Yes.
And you were not kept at 12 nautical mile distance.
No. We were there. That's why we were anchored by the shoal talaga.
You just couldn't get into the inner lagoon, right? That was
cannot.
the only thing. I'm curious, Goyo. One thing that has been bothering me since, I don't know, maybe 8 years now. Do the fishermen in that area, off of Zambales, are they aware of what's going on, diplomatically speaking, the whole row, the whole tribunal, all of it? Do they know?
They are aware naman. But one of the reasons we went there was to understand how the life of the fishermen is na. Sa kanila, it's livelihood eh. What's important for them is livelihood. And that's what we wanted to do, bring back the focus and the conversation about the fishermen. Na. Kasi these are the people directly affected. I mean, say, yes, I go there, but I'm back in Manila now, di ba? Or I go back later, or Mindanao, wherever. I'm not stuck there. They are stuck there. They are the ones who bear the brunt of whatever happens.
Correct.
Di ba? Sila yun eh.
What message do you think they have for the administration in terms of how we're handling the...
Well, they're supportive naman the administration. The administration is doing some things to support them naman.
they do feel like...
Yeah, they do naman,
feel the support.
especially sa local government. The boat is actually, the boat they're using, the pump boat, is actually was funded by the local government unit. Next, through the cooperative. No? So, laking tulong yan. At the end of the day, it's their livelihood, their lives. Eh. Kasi, okay, the captain of the barko namin, si Efren, the other one is Dodong, no? He's been there since late 90s.
Right.
Binata pa siya, he's from Davao, by the way.
Okay.
So halos lahat ng tao sa barko, Bisaya.
Bisaya, okay.
So, mag-Bisaya tatanan. So, there's a couple of guys there who don't speak Bisaya, but they had to learn. Kasi
Right.
halos lahat, taga Cebu, taga
Walang
Mindanao.
choice.
he's been there since the 90s. He got married. He has an apo na. No, he has an anak na. His wife is an OFW in Saudi. His eldest daughter married isang fisherman na kasama niya sa barko.
Okay.
And she's now based in Singapore. OFW rin. I ask why, di ba? Kasi sabi lang, unlike kasi before, mas mahirap na kumuha ng isda ngayon. The catch is not as bad, not as good as before. And they have to do this to make ends meet, di ba?
A question, does their life get harder after incidents like what happened a few weeks
The
ago
water
with the
cannoning.
water cannoning incident? Does life get harder for them?
Immediately after the incident.
Okay. Kasi my understanding is that they use a vessel that's there practical almost every week.
Right.
So, kilala na ng Chinese yan. So, hindi sila hinaharas kasi alam ng
They
Chinese.
know they're legit fishermen.
Yes, fisherman talaga. So, legit fisherman sila. So, that's why hindi sila hinaharas. Because they know that they're
Pero
just there.
may pangangailangan talaga ng fuel out there. I mean, because you remember the BFAR boats, they go out
And
to
they give
distribute fuel.
And food.
Why don't you just, sorry but
Yeah.
my question is that why don't you just give fuel in Masinloc? Kasi it takes about 600 liters to get from Masinloc to the baho de Masinloc.
I was wondering too, but I wanted to maybe actually clarify with you if it was a case of maybe maubusan sila ng gas kasi hindi
Yun
kaya
din
ng
ang
boat yung
iniisip
mabigat
ko.
na
Ay,
yun.
Yan
hindi.
din ang aking iniisip.
No, kasi,
But
okay, before you go out, alam mo na ilang litro ng diesel ang kailangan mo. How many liters of diesel you need for your trip. For that boat, it's about 600 liters. So, you're going to load it already in your boat. And when you're there, you're anchored, you don't switch on naman the engine eh. Naka-solar panel. In fact, one of the things I'm going to do this month is going to find solar panels for the vessels. I'm going to donate. We're going to donate. So if other people want to donate to them, I suggest look for solar panels.
Okay.
And these all the fuel and their provisions of food, obviously magbabaon sila for sure, di ba? Eh, kung nag-island
na.
hopping tayo, ihaw nga sila sa likod. So I'm guessing it's all their boats are equipped. So from the time that you left Masinloc, kompleto na yung provisions.
Everything's ready. Kasi when you travel, you can cook naman at the back, diba? And if you're hungry, it's an ocean, diba? You just dive in.
Yeah.
You can, agay nga, got a barracuda, diba? First day, my God, that's... So,
Did you eat it?
no. He sold it. He sold it. Mga, ang kinakain, we eat what?
Right.
Not too expensive fishes kasi sayang eh. But the provisions you bring on the boat is enough for you to go there and back. So if they want to donate, sa munisipyo na lang.
Yeah.
It's
We understand.
That's their call.
That's good insight.
That's
good
their
insight.
call.
I mean,
That's their call.
providing a different perspective
Yeah.
to the
That's-
whole situation over
That's
in
good to
Baho.
hear.
That's their call. But like me, if I'm going to donate fuel, I'll just donate pag dun sa
So
munisipyo.
bottom line, are our fishermen out there, are they okay?
They're okay naman, but there's, like, for example, there's one, they mentioned before that there was a foreigner, a Caucasian, who went to do a documentary. Biglang, out of the blue, they heard, so may drone na. So, yung lalaki, had to stay inside. So, they monitor talaga. But, recently, they haven't, as they told me, wala naman, hindi naman sila hinaharas.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, we'll see.
Okay.
The,
We'll see.
the Atin Ito convoy sets sail in 2 days' time. So we will see this time
And
around.
it's hard, kasi
Yeah.
it's choppy water
Yeah.
to get to Scarborough.
All right, well, kudos to you. And
Oh, by the way,
encourage-
may souvenir ako doon ha. This one, I'll show you na.
Wow.
A shirt they gave me. So lahat ng fishermen signed this. So
Very
this is my
cool.
souvenir.
Very cool.
At least.
Okay, we are running out of time though, so sorry. Thank you so much for
Thank you
joining
for
us and
joining
sharing
us.
your experience.
Yes,
Thank you,
and
thank
your
you.
videos too.
Lawyer and former Comelec Commissioner Gregorio Goyo Larrazabal, thank you so much for your time today.
We're going to be pausing for a quick one, but right after that, remember Michael Yang, the former economic advisor of former President Rodrigo Duterte? Well, he's back in the headlines, and this time, he is being linked to the 3.8 billion peso drug bust in Mexico, Pampanga. The details when we return. Keep it here.
Welcome back. You're still watching the big story here on One News.
Senator Jinggoy Estrada and former PDEA agent Jonathan Morales had a heated exchange in today's Senate hearing on the supposed PDEA leaks documents that linked certain personalities to illegal drugs. Listen to this part of that exchange.
Your Honor, ay parang hindi naman po maganda yung sinasabi ni ni Senator Jinggoy Estrada patungkol sa akin. Para namang ako talagang hinuhusugahan, ako'y may kaso pa lang at hindi pa napapatunayan sa hukuman. Hindi kagaya po ang ating butihing senador, nakonvict na po. Ay, wag naman po.
Alam mo, Mr. Morales, alam mo, Mr. Morales,
Senator Jinggoy, please.
Huwag mong pakikilaman yung kaso ko. Problema ko yun. Yung kaso mo ang ayusin mo.
Let's get more details on what happened at today's hearing from Camille Samonte. Camille, just how tense did that hearing get?
That's right, Shawn. Tensions got high in today's hearing in continuation of the Senate Committee in Public Order and Dangerous Drugs probe into the supposed PDEA leaks. The still unverified leak supposedly links President Marcos and other personalities to illegal drug use. Senator Jinggoy Estrada got riled up at former PDEA agent Jonathan Morales when Morales brought up the senator's past plunder charges. This happened after Estrada questioned the credibility of the former PDEA agent.
Paano ka namin ngayon paniniwalaan sa mga sinasabi mo? Hindi nakapagtataka, gawa-gawa mo din ang mga alleged leak documents. Ano po masasabi ni Mr. Morales?
Your Honor, hindi ko po makita yung relevance ng sinasabi niyong desisyon ng Civil Service Commission. Ang pinag-uusapan po natin dito, Your Honor, ay yung investigasyon po na ginawa ko noong 2012.
Bakit ka lumilihis sa mga tanong ko? Huwag kang lumihis!
No, Your Honor, hindi po ako lumilihis.
Tinanong kita last hearing, where are these documents? Sinasabi mo wala. Tinanong pa kita kung sino yung confidential informant mo. Sinasabi mong hindi mo kilala. Anong klase kang resource person? Wala kang mga ebidensya. Oh.
Your Honor.
Ikaw ba paniniwalaan ka namin dito?
Senator Bato de la Rosa also reprimanded Morales for what he said to Senator Estrada. But de la Rosa still believes that the document released by Morales is legitimate. In the hearing, Morales presented a CCTV footage of their home from May 1, 2024. Here, Morales is seen with his friend and also former PDEA agent Romeo Enriquez. Enriquez can be seen in a video call with a certain Eric Picor Santiago from the National Police Commission or NAPOLCOM. They were supposedly talking about an individual asking them to drop the PDEA leaks issue by not attending the Senate hearing. The two individuals shown in the CCTV footage also faced the Senate today. But Santiago says what he said in that video call were all made up as he had other motives in attending the Senate hearing.
May hawak po akong dokumento na gusto ko lang ipakita talaga. Ito po yung rason kung ba't pinasakay ko sila sa usapan. Para makapunta lang po ako rito at may presenta mga dokumento sana na magbibigay linaw sa mga sinasabi ni Agent Morales. Humingi po ako ng tawad nga po kay paring Romy at saka kay...
Katang isip na...
Kasi actually sir, hindi naman para, hindi naman para sa lahat yun eh.
The Senate committee has asked Santiago to submit the documents he brought for them to be reviewed. Meanwhile, the drug test that President Bongbong Marcos took back in 2021 was also brought up in today's hearing. St. Luke's Medical Center Global City in Taguig confirmed that PBBM tested negative for cocaine, but Morales questioned the speed by which the results were released. St. Luke's explained drug testing kits only need just a little less than 3 minutes to show results. Shawn, to that, Senator De La Rosa asked why the president was not tested for shabu and marijuana, but according to the hospital, PBBM only requested for a cocaine test. Back to you, Shawn.
Thanks so much for that update, Camille Samonte.
Well, remember Michael Yang, the economic advisor of former President Rodrigo Duterte, the one who figured prominently in the Farmally scandal? Well, he is back in the limelight. The lower house wants to invite him to the next hearing in connection with the 3.8 billion peso drug bust in Mexico, Pampanga last year. And Marian Enriquez has the details.
The House Committee on Dangerous Drugs is expected to summon Michael Yang, the former economic advisor to former President Rodrigo Duterte. This pertains to the investigation regarding the seizure of over 3 billion pesos worth of shabu in Mexico, Pampanga last year. The drugs were confiscated from a warehouse owned by the company Empire 999. During the recent House hearing, it was uncovered by lawmakers that Lincoln Ong has connections to Empire 999. Ong, the former director of Pharmaly, had been implicated in the controversial purchase of medical supplies during the COVID-19 pandemic. In this same controversy, Yang, who acted as a guarantor for Pharmaly, was also involved. However, House Committee Chairman and Surigao del Norte Representative Ace Barbers clarified that they do not consider Yang as a suspect in the drug haul.
Baka next week ito, iimbitahan namin si Mr. Michael Yang. The reason why he was asked to be invited is dahil meron pong PowerPoint presentation si Congressman Paduano na kung saan karamihan ng ipinakita niya dun sa kanyang PowerPoint presentation, mga Chinese who are incorporators of corporations na kung saan ay may involvement itong Lincoln Ong, Michael Yang, Henry Yang, AD Yang, Jack Yang, Helen Chua, all Chinese, no?
As for House Assistant Majority Leader Dilbong Galon, it's crucial to scrutinize Yang, especially since he has been implicated in several controversies before.
He was involved in a very controversial corruption case, allegedly, with regard to the Pharmaly. And Michael Yang used to be the economic advisor of former President Rodrigo Roa Duterte. And kung makikita natin ngayon, nasasabit na naman yung pangalan niya dito sa isang drugs case, no? So, parang lahat illegal.
Yang had also been previously implicated in the illegal drugs issue. However, the PIDEA clarified that his record is clean. Congressman Barbers also emphasized that their scrutiny of Yang is not motivated by any political agenda.
We're not witch hunting here. We just wanted to know the truth behind the possible involvement of Chinese nationals dito sa atin na pumapasok sa ganyang illegal drugs.
For News 5, Marian Enriquez, we are One News.
We're going to pause for a very quick one, but right after that, we'll be speaking with Surigao del Norte Representative Ace Barbers on why he wants to revoke the Immigration Bureau's power to convert tourist visas into student visas. That and more when the big story returns.
Welcome back. This is still the big story here on One News. Surigao del Norte 2nd District Representative Robert Ace Barbers has urged President Bongbong Marcos to repeal an executive order that allows the conversion of tourist visas to student visas. Congressman Barbers said that Executive Order number 285, crafted during the term of former President Estrada, has been abused. This comes amid reports that over 16,000 student visas were issued by the Immigration Bureau to Chinese individuals. Under EO 285, the BI is allowed to grant the conversion of tourist visas into student visas. This because the policy of the government then was to, quote, promote the Philippines as a center for education in the Asia-Pacific region by encouraging foreign students to study in the country. According to Barbers, that power should be reserved for the Foreign Affairs Department, which has a better perspective on whether applicants are qualified.
Let's discuss this matter further with Surigao del Norte 2nd District Representative Ace Barbers. Congressman Barbers joins us live via Zoom. Good evening, Congressman. Thanks for being with us.
Good evening, Gretchen, and the
Shawn
rest
and
of
Regina.
the group. Good evening. Thanks for having me.
Right. So what seems to be the crux of the issue here is the number of Chinese students, whether in Cagayan or elsewhere, really more than in previous years? Has there really been an influx?
Well, the number is quite alarming, considering that no less than CHED has stated in their records that there are about 16,000 Chinese student visas or visas to Chinese students, no? And that's quite alarming, considering that in only 1 year, no, you've issued that much number of tourist visas. Now, of course, we want tourists to come. Of course, we want them to invest here. And of course, we also want them to study here. But now that there seems to be some problem with that we're involved in as far as the West Philippine Sea is concerned. So I guess the number of the influx of Chinese students is quite alarming, to say the least.
But that's my question nga eh. Has there really been an influx? Because we always got to put numbers into context, right? What was the number in previous years? Baka naman it's always been around 16,000, right? And we haven't had a chance to get that data from CHED, but maybe you have intelligence.
No, but I'm just basing my statement on the records that was forwarded by no less than the CHED, no? When they were asked, and also the Bureau of Immigration. But the crux of the matter here is the fact that with the Executive Order 285, it gives full discretion and authority to the Bureau of Immigration to extend visas or to change the status of travel documents of foreigners who come to the Philippines. I have no issue with Chinese tourists coming here, spending their money here. That's fine. In fact, we want to invite them all to come here so that they can help the economy. But when they come here as tourists, and then when the tourist visa expires, are you telling me that 16,000 people who came here as tourists who suddenly changed their mind and became students? So I guess that's quite an absurd claim, so to speak.
Well, Congressman, would you happen to have any kind of data that we can compare this against? Do we have, for example, data of other nationalities, foreign student nationalities or foreigners that came here on a tourist visa and had their visas converted into student visas from other countries, perhaps?
Well, based on the CHED's information that it was out in the media, there are about 23,000 foreign students in 2023 that was enrolled in our universities. But 16,000 of those 23 are all Chinese. So, and I know, maybe we can ask questions further by asking, where are these 16,000 Chinese students enrolled?
Are you pushing through
because
with
we will come to that when we start the hearing.
Right, that's what I was going to ask, Kong. Are you going to push through with the hearing despite all the complaints from the Chinese side, from the Chinese embassy here in Manila? And when po will it start?
Yes, we will. We will. There's a resolution filed by Congressman Lara and Congressman D to investigate the sudden influx of Chinese students in their province. So I guess hopefully by next week there probably will be a scheduled hearing. If not, even if Congress is on break, we can still hold committee hearings, especially on urgent issues and subject matters like this.
Congressman, just to put the numbers in context, you're correct, 16,190 student visas were issued last year. But China is actually the top source of foreign students in many countries, not just the Philippines, United States, Malaysia, Thailand. So I think the more contentious or more controversial number is that out of the 1,516 in Cagayan, only 485 are currently enrolled. So I think isn't the question supposed to lie there more than pointing to the number of Chinese students, because we also want to stay away from being xenophobic, as what the Chinese community has called this investigation into it. What have you seen in terms of how these student visas are being used?
Well, number one, you're correct, no, that there are conflicting numbers that are being shared with us in Congress. No? There are 16,000, 20,000, 400, 500, and these numbers are actually conflicting each other. So that's the reason why there is really a necessity for an investigation that we will do in Congress in order to really get down to the final number as to how many foreigners are enrolled in our universities and where. What is alarming really is the information shared by Congressman Lara and Congressman D, that in their district, in their province of Cagayan, there are suddenly influx of Chinese tourists. You know? When you ask them, okay, which part of Cagayan have they visited? What popular destination does Cagayan have to merit the 16,000 tourists that would come and visit the place? No? And things like this will be asked during the committee hearings.
Under Executive Order 285, an interagency committee on foreign students was actually created. It was chaired by CHED, but also counted membership from DFA, NBI, DepEd, and the National Intelligence Coordinating Agency. Your solution is for DFA to be the only one to grant visas. I mean, they're already involved in the decision-making process, Congressman.
That's correct. Yeah, I think we should leave it with the.
But they are already involved. They're part of this interagency committee already, is my point.
Yeah, but that has not been activated. If I'm not mistaken, the information that we got is that it's been dormant for quite some time. And it seems that there's no. That's why today, I think, or if I'm not mistaken, tomorrow, there will be an interagency coordinations meeting, the first for the last how many years that they've been dormant because of this issue of the influx of foreigners coming to our country. Again, I'm not xenophobic. We're not xenophobic in Congress. It's just that now that the issue between the between the Philippines and China is quite significant as far as the West Philippine Sea is concerned, maybe there's a little bit of cautiousness, or maybe maybe we should be, so to speak, discerning as to how and to whom should we extend all these visas. Remember, visas is not that was issued to foreigners are not the rights, no, but these are privileges given by the Philippine government.
Okay, we will leave that there for now and get back to you once your hearing commences. Thank you so much for joining us tonight, Surigao del Norte 2nd Representative, Congressman Ace Barbers.
And before we go, here's some good news for motorists. A rollback in oil prices takes effect tomorrow. Gasoline prices will go down by 2 pesos per liter, while diesel prices will drop by 50 centavos a liter. There will also be an 85 centavo decrease in per liter prices of kerosene, at least at Caltex, Sea Oil, and Shell. Tuesday marks the third straight week of rollbacks in petroleum prices, and the Department of Energy says this is partly owed to the rise of crude inventories in the United States.
Right, so rollback 6 a.m. tomorrow. After that, pwede na kayo
good
magpagas.
news, ano?
Yeah, piece of good news. 3 straight weeks of rollbacks. And medyo malaki yung kaltas bukas. But that's it for the big story tonight.
We are One News, all sides, all the time.
Thanks for tuning in. Have a good night.